not to rush in and try to do it with your head. Do the yoga with your head. And we've been walking around various themes. And today I really want to spend a bit of time looking at backbending, how the spine backbends. But we're going to take it because we've done quite a lot of that. It's important for modern backs that are constantly bended forward looking into the internet. But we're going to move into slightly more active backbends. So find a place on the floor like David, John, and Johan have done, and lie on the floor and just, first of all, don't over-align yourself up and over-tidy yourself up, especially if you do lots of yoga or your own movement work, but just kind of let yourself come to the floor, lightly touching into the things you know that you need, etc. And just take a moment to feel either with legs straight or bent, but arms quite wide, just to feel where you are today in terms of the ease and the curviness of the body, the ease and the come and go of the breath. Now, as you settle, ask yourself, is the relationship between the way my head is lying on the floor and the way my chest is lying on the floor, is that easy? Is the bridge, which would be my neck, is that easy? Or would it help if I had a little bit of support under my head? And if you don't know, so don't make it an intellectual question, but if you don't know, just try with a bit of support. And you may discover in the first moments that a little bit of support eases those particular tensions that we have, especially around the last two cervicals, numbers 6 and 7, and the first two rib vertebrae, 1 and 2. That transition of neck to shoulders is very problematic and complex. And so sometimes with a little bit of support under the head, we can ease that. Okay, and then we're going to bend our legs and plant the feet on the ground. Not that this is better, but this eases the pulls and pushes of the lower back to the pelvis, or even sometimes the thoracic cage to the lower back. And it's very good also to lie with legs straight and be in the dynamic of the curves. But just for the moment, we're going to just let that go. And be quiet and just coming to be near to yourself, moving away from explaining yourself and answering emails and all that kind of stuff. If you've been bothered by something or overjoyed by something, just make sure that you're letting it move through. You're not putting it in a box somewhere. You're breathing. You're near yourself, and you're letting the ebb and flow of your mood, your intellectual life, your memories just be part of you. That's what embodiment means, that everything is here and could be comfortable, it could be uncomfortable. I'm just keeping an open awareness. And then we're just going to let the head begin to rock or wobble. You can do this slow, you can do it fast, do it your way. So the minute I begin to move my head, I can feel it's letting go in the neck, in the curve of the neck, but I can feel that it's short in the back. I've been at the computer working, and I can feel these pulls into my arms. Normally my head would roll a lot more easily with more oil, and it isn't. So you can play with that. As you rock the head, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just reaching with my arm. As I turn my head to my left arm, I reach with my left arm. As I turn my head to my right arm, I reach. I change the position of the arm on the floor, more high, more low. Rocking the head, the breath. Feeling that I'm actually landing into my back, landing down through the body into the layers of my back and onto the floor, away from this world in front of me with all my social engagements and all the stuff I have to get right and control and make happen. I'm sinking away from the front of my face, the front of my chest and belly, my pelvis, sinking into the living layers of my back. They're waking up, the floor, arms moving on the floor, head wobbling. And then we're just going to let the fingertips float up and take the arms up, and then let the arms drop. On laisse que les doigts montent vers le ciel. Et tu commences, et ça amène tout le bras vers le ciel. Voilà. The whole arm, complete, jusqu'au scapula. And then through a soft elbow, you let the arms fall. You can do both arms, you can do one arm, letting the head wobble. Noticing the breath. If you drop through soft elbows, you really drop the arms. If you keep the arms straight, you never really drop. You can also let the head come off the floor a few millimeters and then drop it. Drop it. A little plunk of the head. Letting the breath open up. Great, and then we let the legs start to rock. On laisse une petite oscillation de les jambes d'un côté à l'autre. Can be very small at first, little rocking motion, and then we let it get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. Try not to carry your legs from side to side, John. This is important. Try to be oily and a bit sort of oily and doodly, and I don't really care. Yeah, so you rock through the feet. Yeah, that's it. And then as they go quite far towards the floor, just notice how the back spirals and back bends a little bit to accommodate. But once you start to go up into the ribs, the upper body remains quite still. It doesn't have to. It could roll onto its side, but it doesn't have to. And so we make a big separation, let's say somewhere around the belly button or a bit higher. And this is a very important place in the body where the upper body and the lower body can literally separate from each other. It's where the deep central tendon of the breathing diaphragm descends down into the lumbars and meets the deep flexors of your legs. So the lower body is doing one thing and the upper body is resonating, but it's not rushing off. Okay, and bring your legs back, feet on the ground. Okay, so you may need to have a look at me just for a moment. Peut-être faut que tu vois un peu ce que je fais. Okay, so I've got my legs bent, and I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to put them under my buttocks, a little bit at first, not all the way under. and I'm going to move my legs. And then I'm going to go a little bit more under and a little bit more under. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my back that way, as if I was going to do this, right? But I'm very passive, and I'm letting my hands tease out the pelvis and the lower back. Okay. And then when you've gone quite far, just before your trousers come off, that's it. You can even sort of wipe up the back of your leg. Est-ce que tu as bien compris? Je fais un mouvement comme ça, comme si je veux inviter la colonne, le bassin à faire ça, mais c'est passif. C'est comme je dégage le bassin du lombaire. Laissez les mains, et c'est ce petit mouvement, c'est délicieux, c'est gentil, c'est doux. C'est pas une action. Okay. Yeah, just gentle rocking, playing. And once your fingers have slid onto your buttocks and are going onto your hamstrings, that's good. Just notice and then wipe them away. I don't know, I'm doing like this, let them drop. And we'll just do it again. This time you could start a little higher. Tuck your palms up, put your hands under your lumbars a bit, and again, rocking the legs, play. So John and anyone who has lower back issues, don't force this. Don't force this. You're just touching in. So we're going to be doing back bends, and this is like a counter pose because it's a very deep passive front bend of down there. Yeah. Beautiful. And again, swipe through. And then just acknowledge the length of the lower back. This isn't better than a curve. It's just letting it untangle. You can even take your hands and just wipe down on your belly. Just like you're massaging down from your ribs with your thumbs down into the belly structures, just massaging down. Yeah. Okay. So long, we've brought awareness to this area. We're not actively tucking under, we're just letting. Now float the arms up and cross them over like we've done lots of times. And you can hook your shoulder blades and rock a little so that now we're going to lengthen the upper back. So you have a very long spine, which is like a very long gondola, Vanda would say. So it's very long and curving with the ends at the tail and the head going up. So you've eased out all the counter curves, not because this is better, but just as a counterpose to where we're going to go later. And it's very long. The gondola rises up towards your head, and the gondola rises up towards your tail. And the rest of you is sinking deep into the ground and hugging your arms and wobbling a bit from side to side helps release that transition of lumbars to rib cage to neck. Without tensing in the lower back, you can even let your head come up a little and wiggle like I'm doing, a little from side to side. Listening. You're deep in the exploration. You're not performing and watching and worrying. And change arms. Maybe be more passive or more active, whatever, a little different from what you did before. A little wobbling of the head. Okay, so we're going to make sure that our feet feel solidly connected to the floor. So if you need them more close, go ahead. And then we're going to let the arms open wide, and the tail is going to start to fly up between the legs. And we're just, the lumbers, the lower back will sink even more into the floor as the tail flies up. Huge feet. We fly up, we fly up, we fly up, we fly up. Take any head support away so you're really free to fly up. Don't accomplish the movement. Explore as you go. There's no movement. There's no, I mean, the shapes are helpful, but you don't get stuck on the shapes. Be in the landscape. Keep flowing up. Keep flowing up. Rolling through each vertebra, each rib. It's such a rich, complex landscape of intelligences. There's so many little mini brains along the way. Lots of width across the arms, and then coming back down, hang from your tail, don't bring your tail down. Coming back down, rolling through, opening your back. It's like you're looking deep in, you know, it's as if instead of looking up at the sky, you're floating in the Mediterranean with goggles on, and you're looking down into the sea. So imagine that your whole body is looking down into the sea of ground, down into the deep blue sea of ground. All the earthworms swimming around in there. The roots of trees like algae. So you're looking down. Your back is waking up, intelligent, huge feet. We're going to go up again from the tail. Very alive feet. Keep going up. Keep rolling through the spine. Keep rolling. Keep going higher. Higher, higher. Opening up, especially as you get quite high. You're letting that area between, have a look at what I'm doing now. I let my arms come up. I reach away with the elbows and I drop them again. I let my arms come up. I widen my back. I reach with my elbows. Yeah. Higher and higher and higher. And this time I let the arms go completely up, straight up, over the head to the floor. And then coming down, really leaving your arms. We've done this before, it's very important. We've been up quite a while, so don't drop onto the floor. Hang from your tail. Hang through each vertebra. We're stretching the lungs. We're stretching the mediastinum and all the thick layers of the heart and the pericard and the way the heart sits on the diaphragm. We're lengthening that whole world in the chest, which never gets moved very much these days because we don't hang up our washing anymore. We're doing emails instead. Yeah, so you're very long. You're waiting. I can feel my arms are vibrating. They want to come off the floor, but I'm just letting them get quiet. I'm letting them hang out there above my head on the floor. Lots of length into my tail. Let your head wobble a bit. Very heavy head, heavy, big antlers growing out of your head. Huge tail, long on the ground. Lots of room in the armpits. Let's make a beautiful. Where is your tongue? If your tongue is back or forward, it'll change the resonance. Where is your lower jaw? Move them around ever so slightly. Open the back of the nose. Nose, open the back of the eyes. Eyes, meow. Free the back of the tongue. Back of the nose. 'Twas brillig and the slidey toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. Oh, mimsy were the borough groves, and your tail goes flying up, and the mome wraths outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird and shun the frumious bandersnatch. Hooray! Hooray! And while we were doing that, to know that there are mice pooping from the rafters. This was pure Jabberwocky. And we come down, and we bring the arms down, and just let your legs slide long, and just hang out now with long legs and curves in your back. Wobble the head a bit, and just feel where you are. Sometimes when I've lengthened my legs, I just flex the feet. I do both or one at a time, just to make sure that my heel is not propping me in a short position. So I flex my foot, that lengthens my heel away, and then I relax. And it plays with the position of the heel. Letting the legs be long, letting them flow away from you as if your legs were sinking into the ground. Sinking into the ground. Near, just near. When we let go, very often the head, you discover that the head is doing very subtle involuntary movements. So might the jaw be. Sometimes a shoulder or a hip wants to judder or adjust or settle. So allow, allow, allow. A few more breaths. Those very subtle rockings you do, constantly allowing you to ensure that you're constantly learning to let go of your head. In the knowledge and the joy that a decapitation a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, so we're not going to get up through a flexion, which would mean picking up the legs or picking up the head. We're not going to go that route. On va pas se mettre debout avec une flexion. Instead, we're going to roll to the left or the right. Roll to the left or the right, completely, delightfully inhibiting picking up your head. Hang out there for a few days. And then again, we're not going to lead with the head, but we're going to be in the weight of the body, the way we put a hand flat on the floor, which is going to help us push up, or an elbow. We're going to be in the weight, letting the head be heavy. We're going to walk up towards sort of semi-sitting. And coming around onto hands and knees. Just let your head be heavy.
And yeah, and then we're going to let ourselves go that way. So John, yeah, maybe you can change orientation just for camera politeness. Yeah. And then we're going to drop the elbows. And we practice this very often, this position of the squirrel at prayer with its tail up. So if this is new for you, you don't want your hips to be forward of your knees or too far back. So we're not doing child pose, but actually we've got the hips a little bit behind the knees. So the thighs are angling backwards. And you want a feeling of your tail going up and a feeling that your spine can hang off. Really hang off and bend your toes under so you have support, and you can adjust this as you go. Make sure that you're not propping up with your elbows, but that you're somehow sliding off. Of course, you need to be comfortable and widen the elbows if your shoulders are uncomfortable. If it's not good for your shoulders, you can do what I'm doing. You can tuck your arms under. This is about the spine. And in fact, this is about the thoracic spine making a backbend. So when we do backbends, what you don't want to do is spend hours backbending your lower back, because it does that already. But if you look at the camera, you can see where my thumb is. The backbend needs to happen up in here, not down here. Also down there, but we need to learn to open the chest. Yeah. This is a very deep movement. My teachers, Vanda or Mary, I can't remember who, used to say that you need to earn your backbend. You need to earn your backbend. It's like in osteopathy, when you learn to manipulate kidneys, which are here, they also say that you need to earn being able to touch the kidney deep in the body when you work from the front. So yeah, you can see, if I look at David, I can see this is very good. But when I get to here, I immediately realize that this whole section, mid-thoracics to quite high, doesn't move a lot, right in here. And so this is what we're looking for in a backbend. And we're not looking to traumatize this place. So look, well, with John, this is amazing, because when I first met John, his spine didn't really want to do this from an injury and so on, but now it's better and better, right? But I would say with John, it's much higher. So with David here, also with John, but it's less. But when I go up to here, this area here and the shoulders, need someone to just do a kung fu jab right there. That's good, Johan. With Johan, it's more in the middle of the back, right there. Okay, so we don't want to rush in and traumatize the spine, but the movement, when you decide to spend some time backbending because you're doing yoga or you're under an apple tree and you're going to pick apples or plums or whatever, that's what we want to do. This upper part of the spine needs to open. And not only is it a deep movement, it's linked to our most ancient curve, because if you guys are able to slide back into child pose now, in the womb, this is how we begin, not in child pose, but we begin curved forward. Tu peux reculer un peu et aller vers ça. Yeah, so this folded forwardness is kind of where we come from. And we have our world in front of us, and most of our sensoriality is projected forward. So we end up like this, and we need to open. But it's a movement that requires the whole person. In fact, if you were to make a sculpture of someone in ecstasy, you wouldn't have them slumped forward. You'd have them radiating up and outwards, sort of like Saint Teresa and Saint Peter. So it's an important movement. Yeah. So just hanging up, are you all comfortable? Mm-hmm. Just hanging out. See, John's got supporting his head. So if you need to support your head, that's all very good. Or folded. If you need to widen your knees, that's fine. If your groins hurt, you can put a folded blanket in here to support you. All of that's great. We just let go. Let go. Let go down. Rest. Rest into the elbows. Rest into the knees. Okay, just before we go to the next bit of gardening work, let's just walk forward from child pose. You're just going to inch forward, take your time. You'll notice that the bum starts to come up. Take your time, then we curl the toes under. Yeah, and then we're back up with the squirrel's tail in the air. And we're hanging through. Continue avec les bras. Continue, continue. Open up, open up. Yeah, and you can vary this. You can put the arms more wide. You can be more palms up, more palms down. Yes. You can turn the head to one side and to the other side. Non, ça c'est bien. Mais ça c'est pas bien. Truc comme ça. Okay. Just hang out for a bit. Okay. Acknowledge. Let it resonate back to you. You're not watching a shape. You're not watching and validating. That's a different kind of process. You are in a participatory flow, making heads or tails out of something I'm saying while you're moving. And then it's like you're receiving, I don't know, like the song of your own body, the dance of your own body. You're receiving it, it echoes. It's like a pebble on a lake. And we get these ricochets out to the edge of the lake or the pool, and then they start to ricochet back in. That's what we're doing. We move and we're letting this, we're not hypnotized, we're not looking for something cosmic, but it is like that. It is, we're water beings. So you move and then you rest and then you discover something and then it bounces back at you and you're not even thinking about it. It's just like that. Yeah. Very, very profound. In this position, we stretch the back of the heart. Very profound. As we get older, as we get over 50, and then you start feeling like you can't straighten up and you don't have movement in your lower back or in your upper chest, and you go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, it's because you're old, but that's wrong. It isn't, it's because we don't move enough. And we don't go into extension. So for health, we need to open. We need to open the chest, and in active and in passive ways, like we're doing now. Very, very, very profound. And this is doing something huge for the sacrum and the lower back. Huge. So slowly coming undone. And slowly coming up to your feet. If you have pressure problems, just go slow. Voilà, on vient debout, peu à peu. Et I'm going to go for a little walk. So we're just going to take a walk in your room and just easy. What are you looking for in the glasses? Oh. That's dangerous. I could have stood on that. Just a little walk. Now, as you walk, you may start a little inside because you've been very quiet, but slowly open up and let your arms swing and let your legs swing. Yeah. Feel your feet. Don't just look down. Look out and up. Yeah. Looking out the window, letting your vanishing point be very, very far. Very far. We don't realize how set our vanishing point is. Yeah, it's very different. It's interesting when you let it go far. Yeah. Far. It's less, you have less problems with people if you have a far vanishing point. If you have a vanishing point like this, 1 foot in front of your head, you're always going to be having an argument with someone. Tu peux faire le point comment on dit, de convergence de la perspective. Tu peux le mettre très très loin. Oui, c'est comme tu regardes pas ici, mais pas la fenêtre, mais beaucoup plus loin. Just walking, opening. So you're opening your regard. You have a deep moving back, very heavy heels, curves. Just funky, weird, and lovely, exactly as you are. Yeah. Okay, so come back to wherever you want to be. Your mat. You're going to need a wall in a moment. You're going to need to be, so hopefully your room has walls. Yeah, so all those walls are good. But just starting here. Okay, so have a look. Maybe tu peux aller là. Tu me vois d'un côté. Yeah. So that's good. I think that's good. So what we're going to do is like we were lying on the floor. We're going to make, don't do anything, just watch. We're going to make a long lengthening of the back like we did on the floor of the gondola. So long here, bending the knees a bit. Okay, long. And I could even put my arms into that. Long, 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 long. And then I'm going to start to lift through my legs and lift through my spines. Watch me. And I'm rooting down into my legs, but I bring my arms towards each other. Watch my rib cage. And I start to open my rib cage. I don't do this. That's my lower back. Okay? But you have to lift inside and root as you go so that you really start to move higher and higher and higher up. Okay. Tu as compris? Tu peux te mettre là. So long, and then going, don't be too slow about it. That's it. And then open up, bring your arms towards each other. And you're going to feel it now. Yeah, you feel that. So it's like in here, just where I was touching you before. This is good. Bring your arms together a little more. Don't drop your head. Right. So you're going to go this. You feel that? That. So like up in there. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Voilà. C'est comme si tu voulais bouger ça. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And don't be too long about it. And then you drop, and then again bend the knees, and then just let yourself go up and through, and really opening up into that upper part of your back, up into that upper part of your back. You need to let the throat and the face open to the sky. It's not about it. Yes. But if you throw your head too far back, that also prevents. So you need to go up. It's like someone's lifting you from your face. Yes. and relax, and relax. And we're just going to come down to the knees like this and just relax. Yeah. Okay, so have a look at my arms. So this is important. As you come up, the more you have a sense that you're rooted and at peace here, because I'm a bit fidgety, but as we get quieter, you know, that's good. Then we start to lift, all good, all good, all good. But watch my arms. If you go like this, your arms become part of your girdle, and then you've only got this to play with, okay? And that's what you do. It's like this. This is how we did backbends. We had wide arms, wide legs, and we did backbends like that, right? And you go all the way to the floor. But then you make a very deep bend, sacrum to about L3. That's all happens there. And if you do that a lot, that's not good for you. So you want roots, then you're going up, and then instead of being here, you bring your arms, watch, and then you lengthen up, and your arms come together, so they are actually pulling you up your spine. And you can even bend at the elbows. Do you see? So that's what you do.
It all seems to be going on here.
Yeah, it's back bend. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, eventually when you drop over and put your hands on the floor, you bend here too. But it's here. You see, because if I do a back bend like this, see, I haven't bent anywhere here, but I'm almost at the floor. Okay. Instead, we want this long wave that is really way up here, which is where your heart is, at T4. T'as compris? Je t'aide. Oui. Alors, tu fais les grandes racines avec tes jambes. Après, tu as une sensation de quelque chose qui te amène vers le ciel, qui te élève dedans. Et les bras. Et après, il faut amener les bras pas loin, plus près. Oui, et c'est comme tes bras te élèvent. Voilà. Tu sens? C'est comme si tu fais ça. Non, non, oui. C'est comme si tu fais ça. C'est ça.
Ça fait mal. Non,
Oui, respire ça. Respire. Voilà. Voilà. Sinon, tu fais seulement l'extérieur qui bouge et pas l'intérieur qui s'ouvre. Oui, après, relâche et repars. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Plus fluide, plus tu peux jouer avec ça, c'est bien, tu l'as compris. Okay, is that okay? Yeah. Okay, last time we're going to go up. We're going to go way up. We're going to be opening, watch me. And then as you open, it's like you're looking around up there, around to the left, really root into your legs. And like your back bend is spiraling and looking around. So you're going up, but you're turning your spine. You were starting to do that. But it's not just a side to side, it's a spiraling. Okay. You see, this immediately wakes up your belly. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's great. Great, soft, you don't need to go far, that's it. You could just, earn a bit more. And a bit more, then go the other way. Up. Turn. Ça c'est bien. Okay. So you need a wall. Pour que tu trouves tu peux te mettre ici. You guys need a wall. So here I am at the wall, and just watch me. So the wall will now give you a little more room to go. le mur va t'activer. So watch. So I step away from the wall a little at first. And then just watch. I'll do it once or twice. You're going to go up. You're going to make your roots going up. Arms, spine, open. And then reaching back for the wall, which will give you some kind of support and safety. So you feel into that, then you come back, then you step a bit more. And again, you go up and you let yourself go back to the wall. And we're going to continue until you touch the floor. No, I'm joking.
But still, we're doing it up here, not down there.
Definitely, but of course, the more you go, the more you will involve your lumbers. But instead of them being like a Gothic arch, they'll be like a long Roman arch as you go back to the floor. Yeah, don't perform something extraordinary. Play, yes, beautiful, beautiful. And don't, the throat and the face should open to the sky, but don't just surrender your head back, because then you shortened across the throat and clavicles. Breath up. That's good, John. That's good, David. Up. Open up. That's it. Reaching up and back. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Ça va? Up. Faut que tu la tête. Voilà. Voilà, c'est comme ça. C'est comme ça. C'est comme ça. Attends là. Tu as tes racines, tu ouvres et tu vois qu'il y a c'est comme une fontaine qui monte. Voilà. Ça c'est bien. Ça c'est nul. Ça est rien, tu vois. Mais ça c'est autre chose. Yes. Bend into the ground, huge roots, flying roots, up, opening, opening, opening. And way up, that's beautiful. Yeah, go for a walk now. Just go for a little walk. Feel the movement, feel the opening of the spine. A little bit of sound. Breath. The swing of the arms, the swing of the legs. Okay, and then we're just going to come back and we're just going to rest into child pose.
Oh, dat je caterpillar first.
What? Get the support you need under your ankles, behind your knees, in the groins, for your forehead, your chest, whatever you need. And really resting into this folded, easy place. If certain parts of your spine feel awake or are clamoring, you know, that's a good thing normally. So just acknowledge and notice the spine has woken up. Wobble the head. Release inside the mouth. Release the back of the tongue. Let the breath easily flow through. Okay, so we're going to bring the forehead in towards the knees and reach back with the hands. It's not necessary to do this practice here if your neck bothers you or you've had neck injuries, so be careful. But you want to come around and hold on to the heels. And then once you're holding your heels, you want to, with the arms, it's the arms doing the work. You're going to gently pull your forehead towards your knees, tucking your chin in, just very gently. So you're really bunching yourself up. Go for a couple of breaths, really bunch in, use your arms, and then release, and release yourself long. Yeah, let the arms go, walk the arms forward. Keep walking forward so that you go into the squirrel variation. And rest there for a minute. Head on the floor, resting all the way through. Yeah, get the shoulders and the elbows out of the way. Okay, so we're going to come up to kneeling. Okay, so the last little sequence is the same, but slightly more complex, engaging the legs in a slightly different way. We're just going to release the lower leg by taking the kneecap and very gently tweaking it up. Just, it's a very tiny movement, yeah. One side, on the other side, and you'll feel the whole leg down to the toenails, kinds of let's go. On fait un petit relâche de la jambe basse. Okay. Okay. Now, try to leave that very quiet. It's going to fiddle around as you explore, as we come up. And also, if it's not comfortable, then prepare by getting your knees on something soft and do it again. You know, release your knees and then come up. Okay, so whatever you need, if you need that or not. You're a bit wide, so if you bring your knees in a bit. Yeah. Okay, so we're down on the knees, and if we go back with the sit bones, we're going towards sitting. And if we come back, we kind of have this vertical place, but there's a force. Can you feel? It's like a strong force. It's not easy just to let go through forward. It's quite, the flexion force is strong. Okay, releasing back through the legs. So we're going to let the arms go up. Again, resist making something just in the lower back. The arms go up and they lift you into this back bend. Drop into your knees. Bring the arms towards each other. Lift up and let yourself open through the rib cage. Up and back, up and open. And then coming back, fold back into sitting and slide down for a minute. Beautiful. Now we're going to walk ourselves back in a soft curve. We're upright. From here, we're going to go up. So it's our arms that take us up. Up, 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 up. Arms together, up through the chest. I lost my base there coming up, but just wait and see. And keep opening. And once you've really opened in the upper chest, allow the pelvis to slide forward. And you're opening and reaching back. And then come back down. And again, just rest. Very nice. Very nice. Have a rest. Have a few breaths in child pose. And then lengthen onto the floor and lie on your backs. Lots of weight and length, easy, comfortable. Open to the quality of the day, if it's morning or afternoon or evening. Wide across the back, long through the back, all the layers settling into the floor. The breath is easy. You're not doing anything special. You're not putting your breath anywhere special. It's just easy. This great gift of weight, to be weighted. Every joint in the body, especially the bearing joints, they need to have you pour your weight into them with every step, with every shift of weight as you breathe. Yeah. So this lifting and opening is in relation to this grounding and landing that we often do, or we accentuate more in other, when we're doing other things, but they go together hugely. Okay, everyone, thank you. Thank you all. Have a lovely rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. The classes, if you don't know this, are all online. Since the first lockdown, they're all available free. And if you make a little donation from time to time, that's very helpful. I also published, I think we put a link on today's mailing about an interview I gave on the body and trauma and how I came to discover meditation and how that's made me reflect on movement and body work and what we mean by trauma. So I think it turned out to be a helpful interview, so have a look. Bye everyone, see you next week.